Chapter 4. Strategic Formations. Sun Tzu said, "Those who excel in warfare begin by securing themselves against defeat. Only after that do they seek opportunities to defeat the enemy. The ability to avoid defeat is something we can control. Defeating the enemy, however, depends on whether the enemy makes mistakes. A truly skilled commander prepares conditions so he cannot be defeated. But he does not assume he can always bring about the enemy's defeat. The key to not being defeated lies in strong defense. The key to defeating the enemy lies in effective offense. Defense is used when our strength is lacking. Offense is used when we have surplus power. Those skilled in defense hide their forces as if they were deep beneath the earth. Those skilled in attack move with the force and surprise of a thunderbolt from the sky. In this way, they protect themselves and also seize victory. To predict victory that anyone could foresee is not true mastery. Winning through brute force, when the outcome is obvious to all, is not the highest form of success. Lifting a feather does not make one strong. Seeing the sun and moon does not mean you have sharp vision. Hearing thunder does not make you especially perceptive. True masters of warfare win by defeating enemies who are already set up to lose. Masters of war win their battles with such certainty that their victories seem unremarkable. They strike only when success is assured, so their genius often hides behind the ease of their triumphs. They win because their strategy is built on certainty and their actions contain no error. Their success comes from striking only when the enemy is already in a weakened or disadvantaged state. Skilled leaders ensure their position is secure and patiently wait for the perfect moment to strike. Victorious armies first set the conditions for success, then go to battle. Defeated armies go to battle first, then hope for victory. Commanders who are truly capable must also maintain good governance and clear laws. Only then can they fully control the outcomes of war. There are 5 key elements in military planning. First is the landscape and territory. Second is the availability of supplies and resources. Third is the strength and morale of the troops. Fourth is the balance of power between the two sides. Fifth is the overall outlook for victory or defeat. The advantages or limitations of the terrain determine how much land is useful. That land determines the amount of resources that can be gathered. Resources determine the strength of the army. And the army's strength determines the result of battle. The advantage held by a victorious army over a defeated one is as great as the weight of a coin compared to a mountain. A defeated army faces overwhelming odds, like trying to balance a mountain on a feather. A winning commander unleashes his forces like releasing a torrent from a high mountain pass. The result is unstoppable momentum and inevitable victory. This is the essence of strategic positioning. In ancient times, those truly skilled in warfare would first ensure they themselves were invincible before seeking the opportunity to defeat the enemy. Invincibility lies in one's own preparation and positioning, while the chance to win depends on the vulnerabilities of the enemy. This idea corresponds perfectly with the previous chapter's teaching: know yourself and know the enemy, and you will never be defeated. To make oneself invincible is the essence of knowing oneself. Waiting for the right moment to strike the enemy is the art of knowing the enemy. But what if no opportunity for victory presents itself? Then do not fight. Instead, focus on strengthening yourself. The second strategy is to wait. Waiting is often the wisest choice, yet too few understand its value. What do you wait for? You wait for the situation to evolve. Positional advantage is accumulated through patience and preparation. Momentum is seized when the opportunity finally arrives, making decisive victory possible. Sun Tzu's thinking is consistently cautious. If your strength is insufficient, you defend. You attack only when you possess overwhelming superiority. Here, Sun Tzu explains the principles of good offense and defense. Offense should be sudden, rapid, and unexpected, catching the enemy off guard. Defense should involve hiding your strength, choosing a safe position, and waiting for the right time to strike. By remaining still against movement and using stability to respond to change, you can both protect yourself and win. In the business world, offense and defense operate in similar ways. A company must choose its tactics based on its resources, technology, and the competitive environment. For example, Michelin, a French tire company with over 180 years of history, is known for its secrecy and innovation. In 1964, they even denied President Charles de Gaulle a visit to their factory. Their strategy of hiding deep beneath the earth has helped them thrive over time. In contrast, FedEx seized market share in overnight deliveries by using its own aircraft and centralized hub in Memphis. This is a perfect example of moving with power from high above the skies. The reason skilled strategists remain undefeated is that they always maintain control of the conditions for victory. Their wins never rely on luck or extraordinary acts of heroism. According to Sun Tzu, if you defeat 200,000 troops with only 10,000, the world will praise your brilliance, but this is not how a master wages war. True generals would never allow such an uneven matchup to happen in the first place. If you won, it was likely because the enemy made a huge mistake, not because of your genius. We must be cautious about glorifying such legendary victories. They are usually one-off miracles that cannot be replicated. When you try to imitate them, you will most likely fail. True masters do not aim to defeat the enemy, they strike only once the enemy is already in a losing position. Throughout the art of war, Sun Tzu emphasizes the importance of conditions for victory. He advocates caution, not fear. Never go to war without preparation, but also never miss a true opportunity. The key is to prepare first and fight later. Sun Tzu opposes fighting first and hoping to win afterward. Blind action leads only to disaster. Business competition follows the same logic. A successful enterprise must first protect its existing market and build a solid foundation. Only after that, when the opportunity arises, should it strike quickly to enter new markets and gain greater share. In real-world business, even before a product enters a new market, clever advertising can pave the way. For instance, Kronenbourg beer from France used humor to win over American consumers before launching in the US. Based on detailed market research, they aired an ad showing people emotionally touching beer barrels as they left for America, creating a sense of sentimental parting. The commercial charmed American viewers, who assumed the beer must be special. As a result, Kronenbourg successfully entered the US market. Some might ask, how can weaker players create overwhelming advantages? The answer lies in building local superiority. Concentrating forces in a key area can allow a weaker side to achieve decisive results. Similarly, entrepreneurs should not start their ventures prematurely. Only after accumulating enough skills and resources can they ensure a strong starting position. Sun Tzu believes that both military strength and warfare must be based on realistic assessments. National military power must be supported by overall national strength. The size of a country determines its resources. Resources determine how much military power it can sustain, and that power determines the outcomes of war. These factors must remain in balance. If one blindly invests in military buildup while neglecting the economy, it leads to imbalance and eventual decline. After World War II, the Soviet Union focused too heavily on war production, leading to economic imbalance and eventual collapse. Though modern Russia still seeks to restore its great power status, it struggles to shake off the economic consequences. Likewise, businesses must develop based on what they realistically possess: financial capital, technology, and human resources. Ambition without capacity leads to problems and even failure. At the end of this chapter, Sun Tzu brings the focus back to fundamentals: national strength, political order, and the rule of law. True success comes not from clever tricks, but from years of steady effort and attention to the basics. The heart of the art of war lies in this idea: first secure victory, then go to battle. Victory and battle are two separate phases. Victory is earned through preparation and solid foundations. Only then should one engage in actual confrontation, and that is the time for creativity. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more.